Hello, everybody. Wait, oops, there you go, move. Ooh, I'm loud, but at least I'm coming in clear, so you know what? That works for me. Alright, come on. So split hand and clip are aligned. Okay. You know what? This is good. This is okay. We'll make this work. So I'm going to be finishing up the roughs that I sketched based off of this storyboard that I created last Saturday. And then, just depending, we might work on a couple other drawings that I have. That's too small. So, oh, that explains why I'm having trouble. There we go. Okay. So I'm making an animatic based off of this audio from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, where it's based off of the scene where Midge teaches Susie how to swim, because it's just comedy gold. Because I've been into the artist way, like self-help, unblock your creativity kind of thing, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna be pretty obnoxious about it. Like, oh my god, have you heard of the artist's way? And you should totally try the artist. Yeah, like, that's about to be me. I got fully indoctrinated into the cult. Not really a cult. TikTok bullied me into it. Explain. I don't remember how I oriented her. See, this is why it helps to kind of like define your forms a little bit. Because I'm trying to like figure out how to orient her neck now. Ah, there we go. Okay. I need to look, what I need to do is I need to look into taking some, like, acting classes. me grab a reference of my girly, my character. I know she's on, like, this screen. I'm just basically using the reference to get the basic, like, hair shape I drew down, not for any of, like, the colors or anything. Just because I'm trying to go with, like, a basic, like, solid-y color kind of vibe. I'm not trying to do anything too, like, overly complex or complicated. Ooh, I have rotisserie chicken that I bought earlier. You're acting like a 4-year-old. No, you're acting like a 4-year-old. I swear I'll catch you. Just jump to me. No, you jump to me. No, you jump to me. God, I freaking love that scene. I'm gonna be quoting it like the entire video. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is one of those like really good shows because it shows the struggle of what it's like to try to like follow your creativity and how you shouldn't necessarily idolize like creators that are, you know, self-destructive. Let me see. So, I snuck in like a really cool, okay, well, I think it's cool, reference to, oh, no wonder why it looks backwards. Maybe not too, but because of, come on. Does the mouse not work anymore? I have a feeling that thumb is backwards. But, think. If you've ever seen, BoJack, Horseman, there is an episode where he, like, goes to, this film festival called POF. And POF is the Pacific Ocean Film Festival. And before he gets down there, his, like, agent is like, hey, you know, you want to be respectful because, you know, of X, Y, and Z reason, and, you know, don't give them, like, a thumbs up, because if you put your thumb up, it's, you know, the equivalent of, like, putting up the finger. And I thought that was an interesting, like, detail, but never, like, really looked deeply into why that, like, was a thing. So when I started drawing this, I was gonna do a fan doing the middle finger, but if I did that, I would have to, like, censor it. Well, not technically, but in order for it to get, like, good reach, I would have had to do that. And then I thought about the thumbs up thing, and so I decided to, like, look into it, and apparently thumbs up is a symbol that, like, divers use to say, hey, I need to go, like, back up for air, I need to surface. I think. If there are any actual divers that can confirm this, please, because I looked it up on Google, and Google's got that, like, AI assist thing that, like, scans everything and tells you what it is, so that's the extent of the research I have on this. But in any case, so I looked it up, and so anyway, so with that being, like, a diver's thing of, oh, they use it to basically signal each other when they have to surface for BoJack Horseman, because the fish people, because the episode takes place, like, underwater with all these fish people, if you give them the thumbs up, it's insulting because it means that they need to go to the surface to, like, breathe. When, you know, everything is, like, under the water. And I don't know why, I thought that was a really interesting detail. And I decided I'm gonna, you know, incorporate it. Because why not? Kind of like how back in Shakespearean, like, literature, if you bit your thumb at somebody, it was a sign of great, like, what do they call it? Like, great disrespect or something like that. I love stuff like that though. When a universe has its own, like, creative set of, like, curses and when a world has its own creative, like, set of curses that, like, make sense or cultural, like, taboos, I guess. Or not taboos, but, like, cultural insensitivity. I'll just extend that side out a bit more, just to kind of try and keep her a bit more consistent. I know a lot of the facial expressions are like the same, or at least the way I'm drawing them. But I am trying to get some more like dynamic posing going on. You can definitely tell there's a bit more of a tonal shift between them, but what is it they say? Make it exist first, and then you can make it good later. Ironically enough, I may actually get finished with this sooner than what I thought I would. It'll be okay. Inside of you is a beautiful model waiting to throw up. I gotta find that audio, because that audio is great. Give me those eyes. Give me those big anime eyes. Oh, look at you, look at you, look at you. I have to rewatch Robots. I saw it pop up on my feed. And it's been stuck in my head ever since. Robots is such a good movie. See, I told you it was Mother's instincts. Instincts? He left us a note saying he'll be at the train station. Also, can we all admit how, like, hardcore, why be you when you can be new is? Like, I feel like we just kind of, like, glance over how catchy that freaking slogan is. And how it, like, actively preys upon, your insecurity to, like, be yourself. Like, I think something that was really cool was there was a lady that there was a lady in the crowd and she had like a light, I think she had like a light bulb for a nose or something. And like she was protesting with like everybody, you know, because it was like ridiculous that they had stopped making spare parts, but for her, she was just like, I just want to be myself. Like, I'm fine with the way that I am. I don't want to be new. And I know she was like a one-off like character for like screen time, you know, but like that is also very interesting. That that she just reinforced, she's like, I like myself the way that I am. I don't have a need or want to be new, when she could probably afford to like finance being new. Either finance or just afford to buy the like upgrade outright. Also, in another, like, and I just thought about this just now, so in another horrifying realization that I was not prepared to think about tonight, but did anyway, so like the whole bad guy villain arc, and apologies for spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, why haven't you? But for the villain arc where they're like, hey, we're not gonna be making spare parts anymore. You know, we're gonna outmode like all these people. Yada yada yada, right? That in its own way shows like the the convolutedness of like burning the world to make a quick buck. Because if you think about it, right, like if it goes against like their version of like robot rights, right, and he outmodes all these people, what happens to like their bottom line? Because like obviously like the people who can't afford upgrades are like in the high like towers of, you know, like society and whatnot. But um but if they have no one to like work under them, like they're not going to be able to afford their own upgrades either. You know? Like at that point it feels like you're shooting yourself in the foot almost, which I think is also like kind of what they're going for. I don't know, it just Robots is a good movie. 10 out of 10 would watch. Although, what I find very interesting is that if you look at, like, so, like, if you look at 80s and, like, 90s films, it was all about, like, saving the rainforest, right? Or at least that was, like, the grand message, was saving the rainforest. And then you look at, like, the late 90s and early 2000s, and it's all about, fighting, fighting capitalist, like, greed and corporate, like, takeover. And now it's, and then it moved to dystopia. Like, there was a lot of dystopia, you know, zombies rising, apocalypse, like a very nihilistic sense of we are screwing each other over. And then it jumped to generational, like, trauma and therapy and healing. And I think that's an interesting, like, sort of mix in how media has kind of, like, evolved over the years, or at least over the years that, like, I've kind of been here, I should say. Because especially, like, when I was a kid growing up on, like, the tail end of, like, movies that came out, like, in the early 80s, where it was all about, you know, this is what the future is going to be, and we're going to have, you know, like, flying cars and AI and what have you, and, like, all this cool, like, futuristic stuff. And we sort of have that now, but it's very, like, dystopian than what it used to be. Or what we imagined it would be, I guess. In other non-world news that affects my little my little bubble of things, two of my favorite authors are coming out with books. Well, one is my definite favorite artist, and another one is not artist but author. And then there's another author that I like picked up recently that I'm like, okay, all right, I'm willing to check it out. I'm willing to read more. You know, glow in the dark aliens. Why not? I'm super fucking stoked though because my one of my comfort authors, Tiffany, is coming out with the Delver, which is the second book in the Spider-Mates spin-off series, and I am looking forward to it. I cannot wait. It comes out in like February of next year, and I'm like ready to fucking go to lock in, drop my entire life. Which was sad because when The Weaver dropped, I stayed awake until I finished it. Like, from the moment that book came out until like the next day, I was like, I can sleep later. I need to know what happens. I need to finish it. And I finished it all within like 8-ish hours. Such a good series. Definitely worth the delay. Which people now are lucky because like if they finish like the main trilogy, they can just start the spin-off series and be okay, but like the OGs know. The OGs know that it got delayed by like a year. And the wait was so painful. Absolutely worth it, but painful. Ooh, let me run to the no restroom real quick. I don't understand why. Why do you do this to me? Why are you falling? You should not. I gotta disentangle myself. Come on. Okay. Alright, well, the screen fell off. Well, the magnets are still there. Hold on. Ah! Why is everything falling apart? I have to run it first. bastard. Come. Ooh. Oh. Good. Alright. Alright. I'm back in the beginning. In the ginging. In the banananing. Ooh, make it. You have like a desk stabilizer or something. Alright, come on. Come on. Come on. Alright, I have returned. I think I've resituated myself. Now, I'm gonna have to do some off-screen editing for this. But I have a couple other projects. Like, a couple other drawings that I've been meaning to, like, go back to that I haven't. And I did want to redraw my, my cabbage girl, so... Oh, a friend also recommended that I do Inktober this year, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start it a bit early, though. Like, just so that way I can finish and not get, like, burnt out, but it's, like, 31-ish drawings. Which, a lot of times when, some content creators and artists do the challenge, like, they carve out time, like, each day to do it, and then there are others that, they, like, pre-record, like, in advance. Which I think depends when, the prompt comes out and if you're in, like, certain groups or what have you. So, like, there are different ways to, like, do it, but I found this prompt list called Weirdtober, where it's, like, Eldritchy theme, and I think I'm gonna use that to do, like, concept artwork. But I've definitely needed to get in on like a drawing challenge just to have something to like post and talk about. I actually skipped doing Mermaid this year, so I may do it next year. And then I have my like Eldritch Food Girls. Tonight is just vibes. I just realized her thumb is backwards. Whoops. God damn it, I hate when I do that. Oh well, I'm not fixing it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save this and we're gonna come back to it later. Well, I am, because I'm gonna export like all the images and then I'm gonna sync them to the sound in shiitake mushrooms. And the sound for the audio I have, and and we're gonna go from there. Oh, that's right, I needed to fix my potato grilly. So we're gonna fix up her line work and do some shading. Some shading and highlights. Huh. I kind of like that a bit more. We'll see. We'll see, though. Yeah, they're not on the same layer as the... Yeah, okay, so it's the way the shading on the body looks. I'm gonna turn on her eyes. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna extend her belly a bit more. if I put her colors back in. You know what? I'm already here, so why not? I'm gonna try to work on her, shading a bit more. And then I also needed to do her hair, if I remember correctly. Okay, so we do it where the light is hitting. Do I want to go up or down? Straight. Come on. Light. I don't want to just do the head. I want to do the body. Rude. Not a reference. High and low. Mm. I think that's probably as close as I'm gonna get. Alright, I didn't realize I had cleared that. The not right layer. I'm trying to trust the process. We're putting all the trust in the process, and it's kind of scary. Come on. Don't do this to me. Listen to me, listen to me. I am putting my trust in the process. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't entirely know if it's dynamic, like, how dynamic the dynamic shading is. Or even if one could call it dynamic shading. I will say, I do love how she's turning out, though. So, I know her outfit is a bikini, but it's like the idea is that it's out of cheese. So, every time I look at it, I keep thinking string kini. Is that weird? Ooh, that looks much better. That looks way more cheesy. So I started rewatching My Name is Earl for like the bazillionth time because I have a problem. But that like aside, I I had forgotten how cool some of like the characters were like outside of Earl, Joy, and Randy and Crabman. Like the fact that so one of the characters, her name is Patty, and she's a daytime hooker, but like she has a master's degree and speaks Bengali, and it's just, I don't know, I can't explain like why I find it interesting, or like there's a guy that does like funerary services, right? But the way that he like poses the body of the people he does like wakes and stuff for, like he kind of like poses them as like a diorama sort of, where it's them doing the thing that they most enjoyed in life. And like at first you watch that particular episode and you're like, oh my god, that's like almost like not blasphemous per se, but like it's out there, right? Like it's really out there. But then like if you think about it, that's kind of like an interesting way to remember somebody, is have them like posed over what they like enjoyed most in life. So like one guy had like, it was a diorama of him like drinking beer and watching football, and another guy, I think he was set up as though he was like fishing or golfing in like a small pond. And the guy that they did the episode about for like the funeral, it was him on his computer. And I don't know, like if I went into a funeral and saw that, I would, I'm not gonna lie, I would kind of honestly be freaking out. Because, like, as somebody who's, like, been to a funeral for, like, you know, grandparents or loved ones who have, you know, like moved on, it's always weird seeing them because it's like they're asleep. It's like, what do you mean, like, they're gone? Like, they're gonna get up and they're gonna come back. You know? Like you do. But, as a side note, I watched that episode and I thought about it probably a lot longer than I maybe should have because, it's just like, if I found a way to, like, do that, I feel like if I had found a way to have that type of service done, right? Not only would people be talking about it, but like I don't think if I were in charge of planning like somebody else's funeral and I got that service done, I feel like I would be haunted for like the entirety of my life. But it would so be worth it. Did I just wind up doing the front for here? It's because the clothes has to be in front of the eyes. Just have to go in super finely detailed, like. Oh yeah, that's the soft eraser, that's why it's not erasing. also think the pilot episode is very like timeless almost. Like it like the pilot, how do I explain it? The pilot episode ages like wine almost. And the reason I say that is because the pilot episode is basically not only what kicks off the series, but like it sets the like majority tone of the show. Because the pilot episode is about Earl having a friend in town who, or basically bullying a kid in town who's gay, essentially. And it's funny because anytime he does the narration for it, he's like, it may be strange in this day and age to think about it, you know, bullying a gay person, but you know, we're from a small town and we ran and you know, like, we didn't know how to handle it back then. And it's just, I don't know. I can't explain why I like it. I also like, when Earl goes to, because, spoilers, Earl takes Kenny to a gay bar to help him, like, work on his confidence. And, Kenny's like, are you just gonna go over there and talk to him? And Earl's like, yeah, he's just a guy. He's gay, but he's not gonna bite me. And then a moment later, he's like, he's not gonna bite me, is he? That's like one of my favorite, like, quotes of that episode. Also, I can't watch, Joy, be on screen without thinking of, the Barbie movie, because Margot Robbie played, Joy, and, stereotypical, or not, I think they called her stereotypical Barbie in the movie, or stereotype Barbie, or basically like regular Barbie. And I just for whatever reason I can't not laugh when I see her as Joy, because all I think about is, I'm white trash Barbie. I also like, how good of a mom Joy is when it comes to her kids. Which might be a bit surprising, but like, she she definitely goes like out of her way to care for like her family. And I think that's super swell. I don't know, just overall, like, it's a really great show. Like, I wish we at least gotten, like, another season before the powers that be, like, ended it. I wonder if blue would be better. Come on. Stretch. 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 Eh. Whew. Great, now I have to find all that color again. God damn it. I hate when I do that. Color, 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 color. Ooh. Nope. I've been loving doing these like super stringy like line textures lately. can't. Come on. Actually, what do I do? Ah! I got smacked in the face! How dare! Rude! Okay, fine, I'll hydrate. You can't see it, but I took a sip of soda. So, hello, Neo. How are you doing tonight, friend? Girl, I'm baked. You extra toasty? Oh, yeah. I'm all nice and comfy. That's good. I'm just drawing my Popato girly. Most excellent. How's your day been? My day's been pretty good. I went to the supermarket and I've been working on some stuff for when I come back, and I got some of my about panels filled out for Streme. So yeah, we got stuff coming. Cool beans. I worked a bit. I finished up the fans part of the animatic. I did that in like an hour and a half, and not realizing I was that close to being done. I'm like, well, shit. Let's go back to a drawing that I need to like work on and make better. And hence I decided to work on the potato girly. Because Homegirl's been sitting in my drafts like, when will you complete me? And I'm like, I'm sorry. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. Although I almost had a mini heart attack because I thought my pen died. I was about to be like, what do I do? What do I do? Oof. But I salvaged it. Do you have Wake on? No, actually, I have Huey on. I used to have a Wacom. I used to have a Wacom, I don't think they make them anymore, but a Wacom bamboo tablet that I used to draw on all the frickin' time. Yeah, I can't, for the life of me, I cannot draw on the bamboo, like, on the tablets that are, like, touchscreen. Every part of my body just absolutely rebels. Because I've tried it multiple times and I'm just like, nope, I hate it. I hate everything about it. Can't do it. So I secretly admire and absolutely despise anybody that can draw on a touchscreen. Because I'm like, how dare you have the audacity to, like, do that when I cannot? It's rude. Rude, I tell you. But then there are a lot of people that think what I do is magic because, so the way my tablet works, right, is, if I go up here, actually, where's a nice niche? There are no nice niche little corners, so I'm gonna do a zoom. Zooma, 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 zooma. So, okay. So, I've talked about this in the past. So say this is your computer screen. Some people think it's magic, but what it is actually is, okay, hold on. Let me paint you a picture and get totally sidetracked. Sorry, I can't switch off the color I'm currently using, so you're just gonna have to hope your retinas can see this. So basically, say this is like your computer screen, right? You know, you have your little apps, what have you. Okay, right. So this is the computer screen. Okay. The way my tablet works is my tablet sits under the screen and it's entirely blank. Right? So when I go to draw on it, like say this is my pen, when I go to make a line on my tablet, it makes a line on the computer, right? And so because of that, because I see where the line is on the computer, I have no need to like look down and watch my hand make the drawing. Whereas, you know, for most artists, when, like, let's say you're drawing, like, in a traditional sketchbook, and you, like, you have to look down at the page to see where your line's going. And when I draw traditionally, I have to look down at the page to see where my line's going. But when it comes to my tablet, my hand-eye coordination is good enough that I don't have to watch my hand make the lines. And what I learned over the years when I saw people draw or do other things, they would look at me like I was crazy. Because they were like, how can you do that? And I was like, how can I do what? And they're like, how can you draw and not look at the tablet? I'm like, because everything's on the screen? And they're like, okay, but don't you need to look down at the tablet? I was like, no, because the line doesn't appear on the tablet, it appears on the screen. It was funny because a friend asked me if she could try out my tablet, I said, yeah, okay, sure. So I had to set it up for her to be right-handed, so that way all the buttons worked, and let her go at it. And she kept staring down at the tablet, expecting the line to show up on the tablet. But then, like, when I looked at the computer screen, her line was like all over the place. So like when she thought she made a straight line on the tablet, it actually came out like this. And I would tell her, I'm like, your line's not straight. And she's like, how would you know? And I was like, I'm looking at it on the computer. Even my teacher was like, my professor in film was like, how can you do that? I'm like, just do. But the drawback to that is, at least for me, because I haven't developed the skill to be able to do it properly, is I can't with touchscreen like tablets. I absolutely cannot and will not. And I know I can buy like screen protectors and whatnot, but and stuff to make it not like as responsive to my touch, but I don't know. I'm worried if I, which you kind of can't, but I'm worried if I press hard enough, I'm gonna break it. Ow, 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 ow. Also, I went down a very, what I would call entertaining rabbit hole on TikTok the last, like, couple of weeks. And that is, pickpocket TikTok. Because, there was this video that went viral about this lady who, who's a mom. She's a mom of like 8 kids, and basically what had happened was a couple of pickpocketers took her like passport, wallet, and like AirPods. And so what happened was when she got to the hotel and noticed that her AirPods were missing and everything else, they did the like find my my stuff AO. Yeah, so this is where it gets interesting, right? So they did the like find my stuff through the app like thing that Apple has, and basically located the girls and grabbed one of them by her like ponytail and would not let go until this girl like returned all of her stuff. And the girl is like, you know, she's whining, she's making a fuss in public. She's like, how dare you, blah, 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 blah. And the mom's just like holding on, and the kid like screamed at her like in the face, and the mom's like, you don't faze me, I have 8 kids at home. And just held her until they got their stuff back. And so that video went viral, and it's funny because like I want to say like Europeans are like, oh my god, they're just like pickpocketers, like it's not that big of a deal. But then like all of the Americans are like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, hell no. And then Americans are just like, you guys, I don't think you guys understand, like, we fight like we have free healthcare over here. Like, and people are like, well, you know, you shouldn't prioritize stuff over people. And, you know, the response is that absolutely you should prioritize your stuff over people. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, if I saved for, you know, like 4 to 5 years to go on a like European vacation to get and had my like stuff stolen, you bet I'm gonna track their ass down and mollywop them. Because we like, shit's expensive over here. Like, don't get me wrong, shit's been getting expensive everywhere, but especially here, right? So like, you know, you go on vacation, you want to have a great time, you don't want to have to like worry about things. And it was funny because like a few years ago when they had the Olympics in Paris, they had to put out a notice in Paris where they're like, hey, if you see an American, do not pickpocket them, because Americans will absolutely body them if they do. And some people are like, well, it's not even about the money, it's I don't want to have to spend a day at the DMV getting all of my stuff reissued. Or it was another one of my favorites was was I will take a 4 in prison over waiting at the DMV like anytime, any day. I think they were called not I think somebody called them like bougie prisons or something over there. I'd have to find it because I don't remember like what they said specifically. How far did you go down this hole? I went far enough down, or this tunnel. What was it? So I didn't look into the specifics of why pickpocketing is like a much bigger thing over there than it is here. Because the reason why it's not a big thing over here is because back in the day, people used to group up and beat the shit out of them, like if they found out somebody was a pickpocketer, but then like it was also legal to shoot them. I think like way back in the Wild West days, just like it was legal to like shoot people for treating at cards. And that's the biggest like kind of mentality difference, is because here, depending on where you're from, you always need to assume, well, hell, just in general, regardless of what color your state is, it's just always a good rule of thumb to assume that somebody has a firearm on them. Like, just assume everybody has one. And that actually, like, that in and of itself, that's a type of paranoia that no doubt, like, prevents a good bit, but you're still gonna have a few that are gonna, you know, like, try their luck. But it's just absolutely wild that we like, and it's a collective, like, despite all the crap that's going on, like, outside of that little like rabbit hole, it's funny because the amount of patriotism that's like shown through the collective violence of like beating the hell out of pickpocketers is fucking hysterical, because people are like, you know what, right now I'm not exactly proud to be an American, but I absolutely will be proud to be an American to fuck over a pickpocketer. And then some people were like, you know what, if you're gonna steal from me, don't get caught. Like, it's one thing for you to, you know, hold a firearm at me and take my shit. It's another thing for you to, like, you know, steal without me, like, seeing you. Or not without seeing you, but, like, with, but, like, seeing you have the audacity to show me that you're taking stuff from me. And there was this girl that was talking about how, like, she's from a like, America. She's from so there was, I say girl, but it was this lady who was talking about how she's from a rough neighborhood. And she's like, this whole drama is hysterical. Because she's like, in my neighborhood, like, I saw a guy get chased by a truck owner with a shotgun because because that guy, the guy who owned the truck, saw him, like, breaking and entering. Or how, there was one guy who got, like, full-body tackled because he was running away with a woman's, like, purse or something like that. Like, and she's like, and the other hysterical thing, right, about it is that the people that they're, like, pickpocketing from are the people that, one, can afford to go, and two, are allowed to go. Like, these aren't even the people who, like, live here, right? Who are from, like, not so, like, kosher backgrounds. Because I think it's, like, if you're a felon, you're not allowed to leave the country, like, even to go on vacation. But then, like, you know, you also have the people who absolutely will body you for stealing their shit, but they just can't afford to, like, go out of the country. I still think of the one creator. So there's one creator, she did, like, the, like, if, fonts were, like, personified, or if, you know, like, different technology was personified, and she has a story about her phone where, she went to, I think, like, Italy, and her iPhone got, you know, pickpocketed. And so what she does is she follows her phone's, like, journey. Like, it was like a 3 saga, like, epic where she essentially followed, like, her phone's journey throughout, like, the European continent. And because she hadn't, like, they couldn't, I think it was, like, either they couldn't, like, get into her phone, or she just didn't, like, she kept it on her account as a phone that she could, like, log into through Apple. And it was funny because I guess the guy would, like, text her occasionally and be like, hey, can you, like, disconnect your phone so that way we can, like, get into it? And she was like, no? Like, excuse you? My guy? And I'm like, that's some audacity right there. Holy shit. Like, one, you're gonna take my phone, but two, you're gonna message me asking me to let you just have my phone. Like, no, like, fuck you. That's my purse. What does Bobby Hill say? I don't know you, that's my purse. Or no. That's my purse. I don't know you. Something like that. But no, like that entire rabbit hole is just absolutely wild. Which I guess the Italian girls that pickpocketed that lady, they did get arrested, but they were back out on the same corner, like, I want to say, like, a day or so later. But yeah, no, Americans absolutely can and will full body tackle if they catch you doing shenaniganery. yes. Hey, zombie. What's up? How you doing tonight? Like, those people who ride through crowds, tackle the hell out of them. We were actually talking about, the dynamics of, pickpocketing between, the States and, Europe. How about just chilling and drying my hair? Oh yeah, tackle them too. Only I'm allowed to tackle them too. You know what? You go for it, buddy. You have a great time. Oh, I will also be out next week, so all streams will be canceled. God, why did I give her so many eyes? Puppet Master Smiley pops out of the vent. Something eyes good. Hold on, I gotta wait for the message to pop up. Hi, Puppet, what's up? How you doing tonight? You having a good time? Welcome into Streme. How you been? What you been up to? Cause the eyes good. Eyes are good. I just woke up in the morning looking forward to art. How you doing? I'm doing good. I be big chill. What are you drawing? This is a pinup potato girl. Based off of a potato I let grow sprouts before I made dinner one night. I was like, that could be a cool, like, eldritch horror pinup girly. So let's do that. And then I did that. And she's in a cheese kini, because why not? They say that the eyes are a window to the soul, so either she has many windows or has many souls. Maybe a bit of both. She's one in like a ongoing series that started when I drew a yandere onion. Which, if you want, I can show you. Almost done with her. Give me 1 second. I might have to fix that later, but ta-da! I do like the lighting on her a bit better than what it was initially. But I'm wondering if there might be like a couple more things I should do or a few more things I should tweak. But yeah, so this is hold on. Ooh, super funky. Yeah. I don't know. I like food. I like eldritch horror. I decided I was gonna make eldritch horror food. Cause you know what? We take crazy chances here. Oh no, I lost the connector. Oh, that's not good. Okay, well, I'm gonna choose not to worry about that for the time being. Wait. Okay, so this is my, my potato girly. She's actually, so we started her, no, we did, so she was last Tuesday, not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. Tuesday we did a cabbage girl, but I did her in a drawing program I'm not as familiar with, so I'm going to be drawing her next within clip. But anyways, but this is our potato girly. That was a random doodle I did. This is my ramene. Not ramene. Why did I say that? This is one of my ramen onis. She is a full print and will be sticker design. She's probably the most complicated piece I've ever freaking done. Are these designs just for fun or to turn into OCs or adopts? I considered making them adoptables, but for me, they're just part of a series of like pin-up food girls that are kind of developing their own like lore, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I've thought about getting into adoptables. But that aside, so this is my ramen bowl oni. My ramen onis come with Technicolor food because why not? So and then this is yandere onion. I was trying to print her as a, I was trying to print her as a, as like a transparent sticker, but it didn't turn out that well. But this is what she looks like. So she was the kickoff, and then I did ramen bowl oni, and then I did my potato girly, and I did my I can pull up what my cabbage girl looks like. Hold on. Yeah, I've got all sorts of like weird and funky art that where are screenshots. Excuse me. So this is my cabbage girl. Ooh, come on. She was drawn in a completely different program. It's a program called Leonardo, which one of my friends has. He loves it. It's sort of similar to like Endless Canvas for like or what is it? I think they call it like Endless Paper on like the iPad or something like that. But it's still a relatively new program, so I plan to redraw her in Clip, but this was really good, like, character art to test out the stuff. Oh yeah, I heard D. But yeah. But those are all of my food prints. Or not food prints, but food pinup girls, I should say. I really need to start doing guys, but I avoid dude anatomy like the plague because my brain keeps wanting to like make them curvy when I try to draw that very like sort of like muscular-esque like shape form, and I think they look too much like when I draw women. So but I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna practice, and I'm gonna try my hardest, my damnedest. Because everyone gets objectively eldritched and objectified here in the abyss. Because why not? Men are just reverse curvy. Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. But with her, I was trying to do a bit more, like, fancy lighting. I don't know how well it came out. Instead of broad hips, they have broad shoulders. Yeah, that's like, the problem, because I want to make their hips wide, too. I want to make their hips match their shoulders. And if I do that, then they're not a guy anymore. Which is so sad. But, let's go find somebody to raid into. Go see who's awake. This late at night. Fight Club. Metal Gear Solid. Juicy. We've been to Juicy the past, like, couple times. We'll go right into Fight Club because Fight Club usually raids into me. So give people a chance to go check out what they do. They make, Final Fantasy, like, online content, kind of. They're a venue that's run for people who've essentially, like, beaten the story and have nothing else to do. really. So they put on like fight shows and that kind of thing. So we're gonna go right into them and say hi. Any other foods on the plan next time? I'm not entirely sure just yet. I know we've still got Cabbage Girl, and then I'll have to think of something else or get Discord to vote on something else. So we shall see. I might get an inspiration while I'm away, so I'm not going to be streaming for the next week because I'm going to be out of the lair. But, yeah. Always consider burger, bun hat. Always consider the borer. Brohedge. Okay. I will consider the burger. Right now, we're just doing ingredient. I feel like if we're just doing ingredient foods, the border would be something different, but we'll see. We'll see. But I hope y'all have a good whenever. It was a pleasure drawing for y'all tonight. I will be back in a week. I'll be back to play more Another Crab's Treasure. We'll do more painting. We'll have co-op with friends, and then we'll do we'll start doing our actual animation practices, and yeah. So anyways, everybody have a good night. Bye-bye!